Hey, good Tuesday morning, everybody. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Meteorologist Greg Majewski back with you here in the North Georgia Majestic Weather Studios with the Weather Report, the North Georgia edition, exclusively for you Facebook subscribers and YouTube members here on, obviously, your May the 5th, 2026. Hope you guys having a great day. Looks like a good start to our morning. Pretty nice. A lot of sunshine out there. We got a pretty decent day ahead. Nice warm one. A lot of sunshine. And then we're going to turn our attention to our next weather system as we've had some updates from the Storm Prediction Center. It looks like we've got a marginal risk for severe weather for a lot of North Georgia, even a slight risk kind of nudging in from the west. We're going to talk about the latest timeline on the storms and everything moving our way. And we'll take a look at the weekend as well and look at our next best chance of rain. Also looks like we're going to see a pattern change as we go into the second half of the month. I suspect we're going to go back to a drier and hotter solution as we go deeper into the month of May. We've been talking about that for the last couple updates. But as you can see out there, Brazelton, Helen, Blairsville, Dahlonega, everybody looking pretty good there for this morning. So let's go ahead and take our look around at some of those cameras out there this morning to get a look at everything going on. Not as cold up there at Brasstown Bald this morning at 39 degrees. They were 32 yesterday. So looking very nice at that lovely view over our North Georgia mountains. Blairsville, of course, looking nice with a lot of blue skies. You'll notice a few high clouds passing through today like we did yesterday, but generally looking at a very nice weather day as well as down toward Lake Lanier. I saw some folks out there doing a little fishing yesterday out there on the cameras out there. Dahlonega, we just saw y'all picture. Y'all looking very nice as well. That looks like almost like a painting, doesn't it? That's a really pretty sky out there for this morning to begin our day. Helen, Georgia, always love this shot. I love when the shadows are falling over the city like that when the sun's coming up. 47 degrees, looking very nice. Again, a light jacket this morning, but you'll lose it by this afternoon. UGA campus, Athens, looking pretty nice as well. Lake Chatou cameras down, so I switched on over to Sky Valley. They're at 48 degrees. That's up in, of course, extreme northeast Georgia. Looking pretty nice there. And let's go to the other side, northwest Georgia this morning. Dalton, there you go from the little train depot there, looking pretty nice. Again, some high clouds blowing on in here for this morning. All right, let's look at our current weather map here for this morning. Let's take a look at that as we're looking at some precipitation back over there toward Arkansas. I think that we don't have to worry about any rain here for us today. There might be some stuff that may sneak in here late tonight into tomorrow morning, but the main rain threat still tracking kind of late into Wednesday, going into Thursday morning. So that's the time frame that we're going to be watching on that. So for today, just expect sunshine with some high clouds, and then we'll see that thunderstorm threat increase as we wait for this energy to kind of get kicked out of the southwest and move our way. And that's when we'll have to track for that potential for some active severe weather. So let's go ahead and get into the day 2 outlook, the latest update here from the Storms Prediction Center. We'll go ahead and take a look at that, and we'll show you how we're going to break this down for you. So this is your day 2 outlook. Of course, this goes from Wednesday morning into Thursday morning, covers that 24-hour period right there. All right, so I can go in here a little bit closer. So again, these western zones that are in level 2, we're talking about getting near Rome, down to Buchanan, so just a little sliver there. But everybody else here across North Georgia under that marginal risk. Now, marginal risk for the most part, what that means for us is you'll get maybe not quite severe, those special weather statements, winds 40 to 50, maybe some pea-size hail, some heavy rain, that kind of thing, typically for a marginal risk. But you might get that occasional one that might go up severe. So everybody here, Dalton to Clayton, down to Athens, down to Metro Atlanta, Griffin, Noonan, the whole area here is covered that. So let's go ahead and break down the categories. Let's take a look at the different threats. Now, the tornado threat, it's low. It favors the northwestern zones up here from Dalton, Calhoun, Rome, Blue Ridge. This is, again, running that 2% risk. That's what that green area means here. You see the brown back over here toward Mississippi. That's 5%. We don't have anything like that in our area. We're talking about this, and we'll see if this makes any changes as we go in forward tomorrow. The wind threat's going to be the big thing, obviously covering everybody here, and where that slight risk is there in yellow, that's where we get into that 15% risk. So we're talking about wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour into that zone. That's your wind threat zone. And then your hail threat kind of favoring the northwestern zones. Again, we got a line of storms that are projected to come in through the nighttime period, and thus should be losing a little steam as we lose that daytime heating as the storms are moving through the area. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the model data on this. We're going to look at the latest NAM on this. It's finally come around. Yesterday when I did my noon update, it was a regular forecast update. It was a little off, but it's finally caught up to what it should be here. So what we're going to look at today, again, no problems for today. You got to worry about this, but you notice it's trying to sneak some showers in here. I don't know. We'll see going into the night, but I don't think it'll amount to anything here. The main threat will be going into your Wednesday. We got a few storms that might sneak in here a little early up here across the extreme northern zones, but that's really not the main line. That's just some teaser stuff that may come in here in the morning, and you see a little bit of that come on by. But here comes that line of storms here. There it goes. Starts to fire up here across East Tennessee, back across northern Alabama, Mississippi. Again, this is getting toward 9 o'clock at night. Now, we'll say this. If it looks like this is going to be coming in and around that time, we will be doing some live severe weather coverage here if it doesn't get too late. And then you see it kind of coming in northwest Georgia, coming in toward 11 and midnight. So it's coming in around those times. And then, but losing its punches is moving on through here. So again, timing on this is going to be critical. If it comes in a little bit sooner, or it holds on a little more of the latent heat from the daytime, maybe the storms have a little more kick. But this comes on through. But the good news is, once we get past the morning hours, it might be a little wet during the morning, but by the time we get to the noon hour, everything's pretty much done. We're finished. We've seen that on a number of systems this year where they've come in at night, raining in the morning, and then done by the afternoon. So that's right there is the current timing on this right now. Tomorrow, what we'll do is we'll switch over to the high resolution model, and we'll watch that at a closer interval there to see how it's behaving. All right. So rainfall amounts, I think generally depending on where those storms track up, I think 1 to 2 inch range. Localized heavy rains are possible, but some decent coverage here across North Georgia. And then as far as our temperatures for today are concerned, upper 70s. We'll have some 80-degree temperatures out there for this afternoon. And obviously tomorrow morning will not be as cool as it was this morning. Okay, we expect that tomorrow morning most areas will probably likely be in the 60s. Do you think you can find that cold front? Yeah, that's a pretty good bet. That's your cold front right there, showing up very nicely, especially during the morning hours there. Shows up very nicely. And then this thing will be slowly coming toward us here as we go into your Thursday, Wednesday night and Thursday. So there's our front. Look how warm we are. We got 70s running into 50s. So you got the classic clash of the air masses going on right there as this moves on through. And then we'll see a cooler day on your Thursday here. Look at your Thursday afternoon here as we're getting toward 2 o'clock. Looks like 60s, low 70s in here for afternoon highs as we go into Thursday. So below normal temperatures. Again, we're in May now, folks. We're supposed to be getting highs closer to 80 degrees. So when we see temperatures around 70, we're talking maybe 10 degrees below normal there for Thursday and going into Friday. And then we're going to warm up going into the weekend. All right, so let's go look at the jet stream. One thing I do want to point out here, let me go ahead and put this into motion for you here. We're going to be seeing some changes. We've been noticing that obviously the progressive northwest flow, that's what's been keeping our temperatures for the most part below normal here for the start of May. But we are getting indications that this is going to start to change a bit as we go deeper into the month of May. So as I got this thing looping on through here, you're going to notice that jet stream action, which has been very busy over us, here for the short term, it's going to start lifting back to the north. And as it does so, that means we're going to see things begin to settle down here a little bit. So you see it reduce back to the north, and you see the ridging taking place. We've got ridging right here, so we've got big ridging here. So sometime after the 15th, I expect it to turn drier, and also expect it to also get warmer there. And we got a couple systems to watch here on the plains around the 20th, but that's the way things are tracking right now. So expect seasonable to maybe slightly below for another week or so, and then we'll see things begin to warm up. So, and that's what we're seeing here on the height anomaly map. Now, when we look at the height anomaly map, again, those blues and greens, that's your lower pressure. The reds are your higher pressure. Watch what happens here as we get to the end of this run. As this pulls on out, we're going to see that ridging get back established over the southeast. Here it goes. You see it. Whenever you see that, you're going to be seeing drier weather and warmer weather as that ridge tries to reestablish itself across our area. So again, the needed rains we're getting is great. They're not drought busters. It's not enough. And if we go back into a dry pattern again, the drought will start to increase once again. I suspect on this next update, we'll probably see it either hold status quo or drop slightly. And then next week, because of the rains we're going to get, probably improve a little bit. But then I think the drought will start to kick back up again, unfortunately, as we go toward the end of May and going into June. All right, so here's our, let's go look at the European model on this. We'll see how it's tracking this rain. The one thing I'm seeing here, again, you get this nice, good rain event coming here on Thursday. But once this one goes by, at least on the European model, I'm not seeing a whole lot here behind this, folks. Looking pretty quiet. You got a system here down to the south coming in on Saturday. We're tracking a little rain coming here on Monday. There's your Monday, but it's, again, nothing really too significant here. It slides on through pretty fast, so not a lot with that. And then as I take the rest of the model run here, not seeing a whole lot here. Get some minor little rain events in there, but nothing significant, not a widespread significant rain event, unfortunately. So this will probably be it as far as decent coverage and stuff as far as rains are concerned, unless we get a model change here a little bit later. But with the pattern change expected to take place after the middle of the month, I do suspect we'll get drier there. All right, so here's our rain totals here for this entire event here going into this weekend. This goes up until Friday. Let me see if this is up there. I believe we've got this almost all the way through. Yeah, there it goes. So this is the 6Z run, taking it all the way through the weekend here, and including the rains coming in for next week. So again, we're looking at 1 to 2 inches of possibility here. Pretty good coverage here across the state of Georgia. But after Monday next week, I think it's definitely going to step back just a bit. All right, so as we look at our temperature anomaly map, this is a good indication here of the pattern change. Again, those greens have been keeping us on the cooler side. You see that cool down coming down in here for Thursday and Friday, and then we're going to warm up into the weekend, and then we got another little cool down here going in early next week. Again, we're talking 3 to 6 degrees below normal, so lower 70s in that range. But look what happens here after next week. Seeing a lot more red on that map, and it sticks around right through the 20th. So again, we're going to see cool weather here, or cooler relative to May, and then we'll see above normal temperature tick up here as we go in toward the 19th and 20th of May. All right, so let's go look at our temperatures again. Here's our cold front here on Thursday. You can see it very clearly right through there. And Thursday afternoon's highs here, again, we're seeing 60s and low 70s, so a below normal day there, obviously, for Thursday. And then your Friday morning be cooler, but not as cool as the last. We'll see 40s and 50s out there. I think similar to what we're seeing out there this morning is what we'll see on Friday, which is below normal. And then we'll see afternoon highs there on Friday afternoon, pretty much 60s, right around 70 degrees. So below normal day there on Friday. Then as we go into Saturday, we'll see things begin to warm up, rebound here a little bit. Here's 75, 79, 70, 77. We start to get back up to normal again for the weekend. And then we're seeing 70s here. We may have some clouds sneaking back in here on Friday, and then we'll watch for how the rain sets up there going into Monday next week. Obviously, that'll impact the temperatures, cloud cover, and rain there. And it looks like Tuesday we dry out just a little bit. There's that weak frontal system. Remember, we got one more cool down coming down there on Tuesday. Tuesday morning, we're cooling it back off there again. And then your daytime highs on Tuesday back off. We'll see a little bit below normal temperatures again there on Tuesday. So a couple of minor cool downs coming our way. The first rain event coming up for Wednesday and Thursday is the best one. The one next week, not all that impressive right now. Maybe that'll change. We'll see what happens with that. So let's go look at our climate outlook here, wrap things up here. Again, you're seeing below normal temperatures here, holding true here. This goes from the 10th to the 14th. I'm pretty much on par with that. And then it goes 8th to the 14th. It does show normal, and you see see that warming taking place coming at us here. And I suspect today's update will probably bring it to above normal temperatures based off what we're seeing there on the European. Above normal precipitation, we'll see. This goes to the 10th to the 14th, goes from Sunday through Thursday next week. So depending on how that rain situation works out with the system next week on Monday and Tuesday, and then it kind of keeps us here of a little bit above average on the rain. I'm hoping that's true, but European is trending a little bit drier, but it does have rain chances. They're just not very widespread and not a ton of it. Unfortunately. So that's what we desperately need. So again, we're going to be watching this developing situation here for tomorrow very closely to see how this thing plays out here as we go into tomorrow. So tomorrow's update here, I will probably make it open as forum for everybody for tomorrow. Just make sure everybody stays weather aware out there on this. Again, I'm not expecting this to be a significant severe weather event. Borderline on this, more beneficial than it is hurtful in that arena. But if it does call for severe weather coverage here for tomorrow night, we will be doing that, of course, live here. And as we continue to monitor what goes on with it. So we really haven't had a very active severe weather season here in Georgia at all. Middle of the country, boy, it was bonkers crazy. We just kind of missed out the way the weather pattern had set up for us. So we're getting a fringe impact of this. Is just be blissful in that arena. But we definitely need the rain. All right, that's y'all's update. Y'all be good, stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow. You guys have a great and safe day. Bye-bye.